from an early age you were trained to be
I
in front
would
of
say
people?
9 or 10.
So what would you recommend? Some people are very nervous about those kind of things, but
Sure.
being in front of people is really critical to being a hairdresser or a makeup artist, right?
Yeah.
So what would you, because you're like
Yeah.
one-on-one with someone, a consultation,
Sure.
you're meeting strangers all the time.
Yeah.
The goal is to actually get new people to visit you. I still bring new people in, even though I don't have enough time like I used to.
Definitely.
You still bring in new clients.
I do.
It's something you get better at as you do it. So it all kind of translates together. What would you recommend to someone that doesn't really know how to do that? Like how to not be nervous around people. And they've never been trained.
Get over it.
Get over it.
I mean,
just be like tough on yourself.
You have to get over it. And it doesn't mean that if somebody is very shy that it won't work in this industry, because actually, like, I do consider myself very shy.
I can see
but
that.
But you put me on a stage, I'm not shy at all, because it's a different element. I'm a performer.
Yeah.
So if you can figure out how to always be on stage and always performing, so if that means you develop this, not character, but a persona about yourself, and go with that, I think that is really helpful. But, right now being an educator is super cool. And everybody wants to be an educator. Everybody wants to be a platform artist. It's super hot because education is sexy, and
it is sexy.
We need it to grow.
We need sexy education.
We need very sexy education. But
that's why we're in this business.
But let people who are really great at that do it. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I want to be a platform artist, but the sheer just thinking about being on stage gives you an anxiety attack, don't do that. Like,
maybe that's not your thing. Yeah.
Find your fit, like you said earlier. Find your fit in the industry.
What's unique about you?
Don't
try to copy what other people are doing.
Don't try to be somebody else. Try to be the best version of yourself. That's how you're going to be successful, because that's a problem right now with social media, is everybody's spinning their wheels trying to be like everybody else.
Yeah.
And we're losing ourselves.
Let's talk about Instagram. Like you were mentioning that you're just pretty much on Instagram. I'm actually primarily focusing everything to Twitter and YouTube right now.
Cool.
That Twitter is so powerful.
That Twitter. You sound kind of old.
Twitter.
You know that Twitter.
Did I say that Twitter?
You young kids.
That Twitter is powerful.
The interwebs.
The internet's really powerful, you young peoples. The Twitter. I like the Twitter and the YouTube.
Yeah.
Because, it just really reaches the world. Like I've tweeted stuff and got a lot of negative reaction and didn't even think I was like coming off wrong like that.
Oops.
Not even understanding the reach that certain things have, and YouTube the same.
Okay.
So
but
you're just.
So here's the thing. With social media, you have all these different outlets. Mm-hmm. You have to figure out what you're trying to get from that. So if your goal is to reach a local audience to bring in more clients into the salon, Twitter's more of a global reach. I'm not certain that Twitter would be the best. I'm not saying that it's not possible, but Instagram is really hot for that, because your consumer can search hashtag Sacramento hair color, and you might pop up.
I do, I do use. I have 2 Instagrams actually, right. So I do that. It's just not my biggest focus at the moment.
And exactly. So
how do you use Instagram?
I use Instagram twofold.
Okay.
And one is to attract new guests.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that is my number one use or consumer of followers.
Okay.
I would say that most people follow me are other educators or hairstylists wanting to be an educator.
Sure.
And that I'm totally happy with that. I love having most of my followers be hairdressers, because I can post formulas and tips and tricks.
That
and
really is a lot of your audience.
To them.
Yeah, that you're really
Most of my audience, I would say is future professionals, students, learning leaders, educators.
So Instagram you use to basically reach the audience that you already have, like your people, your crowd, your fans. Right. We call them your fans. Right?
Yeah, but that is my job. Like, I have 2 jobs. I'm a hairdresser behind the chair, but I'm also an educator. So my consumer are going to be 2 separate people.
So it's almost like your business card or your billboard, Instagram for you.
Oh yeah,
because everybody
it's my
has
portfolio
different.
For
because
sure.
I'm interested, like what's your thought process when you post something on Instagram?
Yeah, my thought process is make something look beautiful so a
Okay.
guest would be attracted, but I would say probably my main target audience is other educators to help them be successful and give them tips and tricks.
Okay. I'm going to check our time here, but what tip would you give an educator right now? One tip that blow their mind. What would you give them?
One tip for an
40 minutes.
educator.
You're doing pretty good. Yeah. Because you're talking to a lot of different educators, not just
I know.
like Paul Mitchell educators.
Right. I would say just, I do a lot of coaching with educators to
Okay.
help them to kind of come into their own and develop their own teaching style. So one of the pieces of advice I give a lot of people is to watch different stage artists or educators online, and that will kind of help you to get your own style of how you teach.
Okay.
So like for me, when I was first starting, I would watch Linda Udici a lot. I really loved the way her hands moved. Lucy Dowdy, I love the way she just comes across.
These are
very,
Paul Mitchell educators.
Yeah, Paul
You can
Mitchell.
Google them.
Lucy's very eloquent in her words, and I identify with that. Heather Katanoy, she's very clear and direct. So I really take attributes from different artists to make my own version of myself, my identity when I'm on stage. So, my advice would be don't try to be somebody else, just try to be yourself. Like that is authentic. And
But
when
you can
people
definitely learn from people, yeah.
Yeah, when people know that you are being authentic and you're real and you're not fake, they want to be open to learning. And that's the most important thing, is to get open learners.
What trend that's something that we started on, but we kind of got away from it. Since we're talking about following educators, kind of finding what they do great and attaching yourself to those
Right.
attributes, what trends right now educators should follow?
Presentation skills, really. Just being clear in your message. There are so many amazing hairdressers out there, and it seems that all of them now want to be educators. And
Not me.
honestly,
Not
okay,
me.
good, but
Not me.
it doesn't.
No.
That's only part of the job description, right? Like
No.
you have to be comfortable and confident in sharing techniques. Your hands need to move beautifully. You need to be very clear, easy to understand, and follow a rhythm and a flow with your teaching methodology.
Yeah, see, that's,
not everybody is trained to do
I'm not.
that.
Yeah, like I'm so not structured.
And
like,
so that's okay.
and that's why I'm learning. No, not for Jason. No, I mean I educate in different ways.
Sure.
Like I this is a form of education,
Definitely.
communication, and trying to help people be better, and
Right.
also getting like really good knowledge out to people. But yeah, that's a great trend. Presentation or communication skills.
Yeah.
What if you don't have anybody in your life that's a mentor?
There's no way.
Ooh, okay, all right.
That's
So
impossible.
what if you feel like you don't have a mentor?
Then you need to hop on Instagram and find one. It's
one.
just way too easy. And there are so many people out there who love giving back in the industry, and mentoring somebody really is giving back, and it's giving somebody something that we wish we would have had at that moment.
Yeah.
But what's most important when you're finding a mentor is to find somebody who has done what you want to do before. For example, if you are looking to open your own salon, your mentor should be a successful salon business owner.
Not me. No, it was good. It was good while it lasted.
That's okay.
I just realized it wasn't my thing. We did
Sure.
it. I did it for over a year and was like, I'm out.
Right.
But I learned from it. But yeah, you should find like Mac, who runs our salon. She's very good.
Right.
Very good. Like
Yeah.
thought of stuff I would never think of. So yeah, you find somebody that knows what they're doing.
They've
and
done
they're
it before.
doing it and they're making
They're
money out of
doing
it.
it. Yes, their
Yeah.
passion is their paycheck. You need to find people like that and have them in your corner, but it's not enough to just have somebody be your mentor and you're their mentee and you ask them a bajillion questions. You actually have to do the work yourself. And
You have to apply it.
there's that twofold of having a mentor situation is not just taking, but you're also giving us information of how you're applying this, how you're growing, and where you should go from there.
That's something good. Okay. The big assistants are like a big deal for me. Like, I feel like people just don't know how to really be a good assistant. Do you feel like that you run into that? Or is it just me not being,
I will say,
finding good people? I'm just out of the assistant business. I'm done.
I will say maybe you're just not a great teacher.
Oh, yeah, I'm not. That's fair. That's fair criticism. So
I've had people assist me, and it is all about just being very open and honest with what you need. I need you to stand right here.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
I need you to hand foils with me with the fold up.
I'm bad at it.
Very
She's
specific.
good at it. So let's give some tips to if you want to be if you want to be with somebody very good in the salon. Give some tips on how to be a good assistant.
Listen, keep your ears open, keep your eyes open.
Listen.
You are anticipating your stylist's next move.
What is anticipating?
Well, if you're watching me foil and I just got done folding my sides of the foil in, you know I'm going to be ready for another foil in a minute.
Exactly.
You should be holding hair for me.
Hold
you
hair.
should be sectioning for me. Like, you
Move
know
ahead.
where I'm going.
Right.
You're watching my patterns.
Paying attention, and that's how you learn how to do it yourself.
That's how you learn to do it yourself, is by watching and knowing what step we're going to take next. Anticipating. So some of the best assistants I had were truly just the best listeners.
So the assistants you've had, they've moved on to doing things on their own? Is that
absolutely?
Do you have an assistant right now by any chance?
I do not.
Okay.
Nope.
Do you want one?
No, thank you. I'm good. I don't mean it like that. I absolutely, I love having an assistant. They do make your life easier.
It's a lot of work, though.
It's a little bit of work.
They make your life easier, but it is a lot of work because you're
not,
responsible for their success.
Yes, and it's not enough
I've made mistakes with assistants, not realizing that. I just didn't realize that.
Well, it's a give and take relationship.
And they have to kind of be like, they have to kind of understand who you are, and because they're going to get things from you. Like, you're very good. And, like, I could assist you and learn from you.
Right.
You know, and maybe I should one day. That would be an amazing thing. As part of my journey to be better, you know.
Right.
No one is above learning from someone better.
Yeah.
But I had a hard time finding people that really could fit my gifts.
There you go.
Know,
it's a relationship.
So.
And that's okay, but
so be a good
right
listener.
now I'm good off having an assistant.
It's just kind of the way you're doing things doesn't quite fit.
I'm putting a lot of focus in education and traveling, and so for me having to give so much of my energy and so much of myself when I am on stage teaching, to be also on stage at the salon teaching an assistant, that's even more energy that I'm expending.
It's a lot of energy to be. You have to be. You really have to be tracking what your assistant's
definitely,
doing,
and on a human level, you need to be very protective of your energy and what you're giving to the world. And so if I'm giving and I don't allow that decompression time, then that's when you start to feel drained and burnt out.
I actually I know myself really well.
Right.
I can fight through burnout. We all can.
Yeah.
I've learned how to fight through it. I don't get burnt out. I fight through it, but I know that I have to have resting times, even when I think I'm okay. I've developed a rhythm of resting. Because I do a lot of hours and a lot of different things.
And it took us a while to get there, and maybe there's somebody out there feeling stressed out because they're trying to do everything, and just remember, you don't have to be everything to everybody.
How do you not do that?
You just don't. You've burnt out before, and you've felt stress and anxiety, and you don't want to go there anymore, so you just don't. You are protective. You have balance.
Do you stop doing certain things?
You set boundaries.
You
set boundaries. Instead of being the yes, you think, well, is this opportunity going to make me happy? Is it going to make me money? Because if it's not doing either of that, then I'm really not interested.
Yeah.
I used to be a very, I would say yes to every single thing. Do you want to clean the toilet? Yes. Because it might get me somewhere. Do you want to fold all these towels at my salon? Yes. It might get me somewhere. And then you realize, you've said yes to these opportunities that, quite frankly, never served you.
You learn certain things.
It's a maturity sort of thing as you get going in the industry to learn how to set those boundaries and just be okay with saying no if it's not going to help you.
That's hard for people.
It was really hard for me.
It's hard.
This is like
at times it's so hard.
This is not a forever journey. I've not forever
Yeah.
been good at this. It's
Yeah.
only been, I would say, probably 3 years since I've been great at boundaries.
No, it takes time.
It's learning.
It takes practice. It takes making mistakes.
Right.
Like, I've made a lot of mistakes. I was just earlier today, I was just talking to Mac about something I could have done a lot better.
Right.
But no one stops. You just don't stop. You know, mistakes, you learn from them.
You've got to learn.
You really have to learn from them. So, speaking of that, give me a mistake that you really learned from, or there's somebody I watch, and he does videos and he does interviews, and he talks about he asks them, what's your favorite failure, because that turned into something great.
Yes.
So I don't want to steal that from him, but I want to give you that idea. What's a mistake that you look back and you're like, wow,
Sure.
that's something that I could have avoided, or I'm better from it, or it led to something.
Right.
Let's talk about one of those things.
Favorite failure. I like the way you put that. You know, not setting boundaries and just giving too much. That would be my favorite failure, because now
Okay.
I have learned you just have to stay true to yourself and put that energy into your own personal development and growth.
That's well said. One last question. We'll probably wrap. Unless this has been great. I hope you've enjoyed it. I've really enjoyed it. What's give me a moment where you had to take a big risk and like it paid off. Tough choice.
Rest.
Tough choice for a big risk that really paid off for you. Don't say doing stage stuff, because
No,
that's easy
it's
for
not
you.
that-
Pick something that scared
Yeah,
you.
that's not a risk
What
at
scared
all.
you and you did it and it worked?
I don't think I've gotten to that point yet.
Mm.
I think things have just organically happened, and it may not have been the way I wanted it to, but it has somehow worked out
Okay.
for me.
Okay.
And so I don't feel like I've had that big risk quite yet.
Do you think it's coming?
I don't feel a hurricane coming through.
There's nothing that was a big challenge for you, huh?
Oh, I've had big challenges.
Okay, give me a challenge then.
But that's
maybe
not
risk was the
a
wrong word.
risk. I
think of risk and
making a choice, making a
Yeah.
decision.
okay, give me a big decision.
I haven't had it.
Okay, then give me
That's the thing.
All right, give me a big challenge, since this question is like totally failing. Give me a big challenge.
Yeah, I mean, a big challenge is changing my career path from school administration to focusing.
Oh, that's right, because we forgot to mention you
Right.
did work with schools
Yes.
in the actual administration. That's how you met
In the
me.
actual
That's how we
school.
met.
Yeah,
So yes, you were my administrator and my teacher.
sure.
In the past.
There you go.
So you're saying
Yeah,
switching from administration
switching
to
from more of administration, business, marketing, management sort of situation to being quite independent in business for myself, being self-employed.
that was a big choice.
It was not really a choice, but it was part of the path that I needed to take. And it has been different, but it's changed my perspective about a lot of different things for sure. But so yeah, that might have been like maybe a risk going into business for myself, focusing more on my salon work behind the chair and traveling and educating people and sharing my love.
Your love.
My love.
I like that. That's a good way to end it. All right, so one last thing you want to tell the world. What do you want to tell the world about hair and beauty? Why do you love it? Why should they love it? Why should somebody watching this that doesn't even do hair, why should they watch this? Why should they maybe go see you if they don't have a hair person? Why?
It's not even about hair and beauty. It's about being a good person and giving back to your community.
Being a good human.
Yeah, and giving positive energy and light everywhere you go, and just being really open, an amazing communicator. Like, that is what this industry is about. It really has nothing to do with hair. it is so much more than that. So that would be my advice, is just be an awesome human and everything will work out for you.
Learn to like people.
Yeah.
And like yourself. If you
Yeah.
like yourself, you're going to like people.
Definitely.
Nikki, thank you.
Thank you.
This has been a lot of fun. All right, where can they find you on the internet? On Instagram, right?
Yeah, always on Instagram at Nikki Ramos Hair.
All right, and you can follow me at Jason J. Daniel everywhere on the internet and on the Twitter and on the YouTube.
And all
Did
on
you
the
see that?
interwebs.
On the interwebs. Love you guys. See you next time.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for watching. Bye. That was a lot of fun. Thank you.
You're welcome.